Good evening, everybody. Going to be looking at the big three here. It's August 3rd, 11 p.m. Eastern. Just a heads up, I'm going to be leaving the country tomorrow through Tuesday, so I'll not be doing the videos as regularly. I will be checking into the chat room and posting support and resistance levels about once a day as I can. But other than that, we'll resume the normal routine back next Wednesday. And just a reminder, if you've been enjoying this sector and doing well and experiencing virtual numbers appear in your bank account and internet monies floating around, then treat yourself to, life experiences or whatever your goals were when entering this space and not just sit on it. Let's enjoy the abundance. So, starting with Bitcoin on the daily time frame, what we have forming is a bit of an ascending triangle pattern. The psychology is certainly there of that pattern, where we have our resistance line. You could either put your resistance line at the all-time high, or you could use the highest close of the candlesticks here, which is acting as resistance as well. That's a bit different. That's at 28.76, right around that level. But what we have is the horizontal resistance level and then higher lows as it's getting a tighter and tighter range. So what I tell everybody during this tightening range is to, ease back your trading. And the amount you trade should be dictated by the activity in the market and the volume. Where, a month ago, the opportunity that we were seeing, there were times where a whole week straight I'd be making 3 to 5 trades a day. But when we see a tightening range like this, we know that the range is shrinking every time we see a pullback here with the higher low. The opportunity is decreasing as well. And if I were to try and trade with the same amount of vigor as I did back when the volume was coming in, I definitely would be giving back profits and, being really impatient, because you cannot day trade this kind of environment. We were flipping ETH on 2-minute moves a couple months ago, and now ETH goes $10 over a few hours, and we're lucky. So you want to scale back activity as this is scaling back in range and volatility, and we will see a break approaching, but that could still be a week away. So I'm anticipating the tightening range to continue. Our most recent higher low is this support of 26.50. And now we're heading back up towards resistance. This night just rolled over here 3 hours ago. So a nice solid candlestick for the bulls, trying to fend off the bearish MACD cross on the daily time frame. But really, that's not going to get a clear bear break unless we do break this higher low pattern. So zooming in on the 4-hour time frame, it's a little bit tighter. And this is a potential bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern to be keeping an eye on. And that would be the left shoulder, the right shoulder. And we would potentially be coming down on that right shoulder right now. Again, I'll never really act on this kind of pattern when it's this undeveloped, but I will note it, and I'll certainly be keeping an eye out for signals that it's becoming more probable. So the further we would pull back here, the more probable it would become. So this support is down at 26.38, around that level. You could be looking at this low as well. This is the right side of the neckline. The low of that candlestick is that 26.50 mark. So that's that higher low on the daily time frame, where if it were to break, that would be a bearish indication of losing that little higher low. So where we are right now, we had a big bull move. We're pulling back. Our higher low is intact. And now we're seeing a tightening range. This is a potential bull flag on the 4-hour time frame after a solid day of upside. Little potential healthy consolidation, and then continuation is that pattern. So that's what the bulls are hoping for. But it's all about 26.50 and holding that support and trying to make their way back towards resistance of 29.25. While keeping that higher low pattern alive. So that's pretty much what's going on with Bitcoin. Not a ton of action, not a ton of volatility. It's been a nice uptrend. So seeing the uptrend, or the trend change here, where we had the clear lower high and lower low patterns on the hourly time frame, and then we broke the lower high pattern and then started forming higher lows and higher highs. And it's been pretty steady in terms of stair-stepping its way up. But you can see the way down. Look at the volume and the volatility, the range of these candlesticks, and then the range of the candlesticks on the way up is way less significant. So checking in on Ethereum on the daily time frame, still seeing an equilibrium pattern. There we go. So we have our low of the pullback, the high of the bounce. We pull back here and formed a higher low, and it's really just getting tighter and tighter with the clear resistance I'm watching of 249.40. Might as well call that 250 psychological right there. So that's the resistance level that I would be watching for a clear break of this tightening pattern on the daily time frame, and a clear bear break for me would be down here at 178.03. That's a wide range. We've got inside bars on the daily time frame, so we've seen these lead to a bear break most recently, and we have that wide or large range, smaller, and here we are still within it now as the volume is dropping off. So there's that volume dropping off and volatility and opportunity. And zooming in on the 4-hour time frame, these inside bars are the equilibrium pattern where we have our high, low the pullback, lower high, and now we're just trading sideways. And we're even forming inside bars on the 4-hour time frame. So it's just a very, very tight trading ongoing. We could put an uptrend line to keep an eye on here, not near hitting that. But it's just all about the daily charts tightening on these big three here. So that would be a pattern I would potentially be watching on Ethereum on the 4-hour time frame. I'd like a little more if these lines touch that resistance line, but it's close. And watching, again, just watching to see how it plays out, because right now the break will be clear when it happens. And I said in the last video, I want it to get as tight as possible, because when it's really, really tight, it's very clear when the break occurs to everybody, all the traders, and it's clear which direction to be placing your bets in. So Litecoin on the daily time frame, we had the potential for this bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern, but the bulls held the neckline of support right at that $38 level, and they're trying to follow through. We have inside bars here as well. So multiple inside bars. We're on a fourth one, and it's just tightening range, declining volume. We're on the verge of a bullish MACD cross on the daily time frame. So if we do see continuation, if we can get up into the $44 range again, we will look at this hourly MACD cross, but we have to look back here and see that we did barely get across, and then it bearish crossed again. So a little bit of a fake out in terms of the MACD back up here, and that's the level that the bulls need to break to see a higher high, 47.93. So we have our higher lows intact, and that would break the higher high and have us looking up at 57.75. There's a lot of room to the upside once we break this pattern. So watching it tighten, same thing as Ethereum, just a little bit of a different shape on the daily time frame, as they are fairly closely linked together. And zooming in on the 4-hour time frame, we're close to a bullish MACD cross down there as well. And we're just seeing another potential bearish reversal head and shoulders pattern. So there's so much to be aware of in terms of being cautious. But if this one were to come down as well, that would be a potential bearish indication. And there's the support on the neckline. That's at 41.79. And the base of the support that we just formed on these inside bars, I'm looking down at the 42.20s. 2 lows in the 42.20s. Actually, 3 lows in a row. 3 4-hour candlesticks. So there's another support level there. If you wanted to have a tighter stop loss, that's where it would go. And in terms of resistance, obviously that's not a bullish candlestick that we just formed. It's an upper wick of profit taking, and not the kind of follow through that the bulls were looking for, although this candlestick actually just started trading, so there's a long way to go here. 50 minutes. So we'll see if the bulls can recover, and let's see how the 15-minute, as we zoom in, we can see the bulls just made a break of resistance on this 15-minute chart, so trying to keep that momentum up. So that's what we've got on the big three heading into this weekend. And if these names keep tightening on the daily time frame over the next 4 days, we could see a break. So I will be doing my best to check in, and I hope everybody profits without me if it does start going wild again. But I honestly don't expect it to go crazy. I expect there to be nice solid moves, more so than we've seen once we get the clear break on the daily time frame. But I don't think we're going to rocket up to new all-time highs. I think this space has settled down enough with the amount of influx of new money coming in and all the hype. I think it's cooled down enough to the point where we're not going to see huge breakout moves unless there is a news catalyst behind it that leads to shorts covering as well as longs buying. So that's my viewpoint on the space. So thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you all on Wednesday. I did put a petition in with the cryptocurrency world to stop trading for the next 4 days. Still waiting to hear back on that, and maybe it'll shut it down for me. Thanks again. See you soon.